ये वीडियो सेल में होने वाले डीएनए आइसोलेशन को हमको समझाएगा। इसके साथ हम ये भी बताना चाहेंगे,
डीएनए आइसोलेशन की शुरुआत में सेल मेम्ब्रेन को तोड़ा जाता है और फिर एंजाइम्स द्वारा शुद्ध डीएनए को अलग किया जाता है। इस डीएनए आइसोलेशन एंड प्यूरिफिकेशन वीडियो को अंत तक जरूर देखें। एक रिसर्च पेपर और हायर बुक्स कई ऐसी महत्वपूर्ण जानियां मिलेंगी जो आमतौर पर बहुत मेहनत के बाद मिलती हैं।
To extract a single piece of genetic code, you first have to navigate the cytoplasm of a living bacterial cell, a pressurized environment packed with proteins, RNA, and molecular debris. Every modern application of genetic engineering, from synthetic insulin production to CRISPR gene editing, begins with the contents of a standard 1.5 milliliter microcentrifuge tube. The workhorse of this microscopic environment is Escherichia coli. Researchers utilize them because they harbor independent, circular genetic payloads known as plasmids that replicate separately. Extracting these plasmids presents a physical challenge. The bacterial genome is a tangled web of linear DNA, while the target plasmid is a microscopic, tightly supercoiled ring. Standard chemical filtering fails here because both structures are made of the exact same nucleic acids. Separation requires a strategy that targets the physical architecture of the molecules. Pre-1979 DNA extraction methods were expensive and time-consuming. Researchers relied on heavy industrial centrifugation and harsh organic solvents to pull genetic material from cells. This changed when researchers Birnbaum and Doley introduced the alkaline lysis method, a protocol that shifted the focus from brute force chemistry to structural physics. Their protocol targets the mathematical topology of the DNA strands, effectively turning the molecule's own shape against it. For students, success with this technique depends on tracking the physical mechanism of every reagent rather than memorizing the order of the steps. DNA isolation is a coordinated manipulation of the cellular environment, designed to force the genome and the plasmid down two different physical paths. The first phase is resuspension. Once the harvested bacteria are collected in a buffer, the immediate threat to the plasmid comes from DNase, cellular enzymes that shred free-floating DNA. The buffer contains EDTA to neutralize this threat. This chemical acts as a molecular claw that snatches the magnesium ions from the surrounding environment, deactivating the DNase enzymes and leaving the DNA intact. Next, sodium dodecyl sulfate, a powerful detergent, forces its way into the bacteria's phospholipid bilayer. The membrane shatters into disorganized micelles, spilling the cell's contents. Simultaneously, sodium hydroxide drives the alkalinity to a pH of 12.5. This strips protons from the nucleic acids, snapping the hydrogen bonds and forcing the DNA double helix to unzip into separate single strands. The cell is now a denatured soup of unfolded proteins and unwound DNA, ready for the differing structures of the genome and plasmid to react to the changing environment. Although the high alkalinity unwound both types of DNA, their physical architecture dictates the final separation. The small plasmid is circular. Even though its hydrogen bonds are broken, the two single strands remain mathematically linked in a state called catenation. They overlap like two unbroken rings, physically trapped together. When potassium acetate is added to neutralize the pH, these plasmid strands instantly snap back together. Because topology held them in close proximity, they reform their hydrogen bonds into a supercoiled circle. The linear genome strands drifted too far apart during the alkaline phase to find their original partners. As the pH drops, they bind randomly to each other and the detergent, collapsing into a chaotic mass that precipitates out of the liquid. Topology determines molecular fate. The linked strands reassemble and stay in the liquid, while the unlinked genomic strands tangle and sink into the pellet. The intact plasmid is now suspended in a liquid supernatant, mixed with salts and microscopic proteins. Separating it from these remaining contaminants requires a porous silica matrix. Under normal conditions, DNA and silica repel each other because both carry a negative electrostatic charge. They are also encased in organized hydration shells of water molecules that prevent them from touching. Chaotropic salts, like guanidium thiocyanate, are used to shatter these hydration shells. These molecules disrupt the thermodynamic structure of liquid water, exposing the bare surfaces of the DNA and the silica. With the water shells removed, positively charged sodium ions provide an electrostatic bridge. A sodium ion locks into place between the negative silica and the negative DNA, anchoring the plasmid to the column, while an ethanol wash flushes away the contaminants. Finally, pure water is applied to the column. The water molecules aggressively wedge between the DNA and the silica, rebuilding their hydration shells. This displacement breaks the sodium bridges, allowing the purified plasmid to detach into the collection tube. The extraction process relies on the rhythmic destruction and restoration of water's thermodynamic structure to isolate the target molecule from the rest of the cell. Agarose gel electrophoresis validates the extraction. Because the purified plasmids are compact and supercoiled, they move through the gel matrix much faster than linear DNA, leaving behind distinct fast-moving bands that confirm their purity. Applying these physical principles on an industrial scale enables mass manufacturing. High-purity plasmid isolation allows pharmaceutical facilities to program bacteria to produce massive quantities of human insulin. In agriculture, plasmids isolated through these methods deliver specific traits to global crops. This technology produces engineered variants like golden rice, which synthesizes beta-carotene to combat vitamin deficiencies. Competitive exams often test these specific mechanisms, the topology, electrostatics, and thermodynamics, because they govern every success and failure in the lab. The interactions of topology, detergents, and thermodynamics inside this 1.5 milliliter tube dictate the current reach and future possibilities of biotechnology.